Basically, we take empty, derelict properties, we clean them out, we then refurbish them to a very high standard, and then we rent them out to people in the area who would otherwise struggle to find accommodation at an affordable rent. The buildings are renovated by a mixture of qualified staff, building personnel, and volunteers. Generally, you would have one builder to maybe 2 or 3 volunteers working on site at any one time. And they start at 8 a.m. in the morning and finish around 4 o'clock generally in the afternoon on the building site, learning a variety of trades. Everything you can imagine that would go into renovating a derelict property. I mean, a typical project would be starting with an empty shell. Very often a house that has been derelict or empty for a number of years, you will find a lot of problems. So we send a team in to do the rip out, and basically they will clear up all the mess that's in there, and then they will start knocking plaster off the walls. They will take up any woodwork that is damaged and beyond repair, floorboards and the like, strip all the wallpaper off the walls. The next phase would be the builders going in, replacing electrics, replacing woodwork, replacing plaster. Floors get knocked in, and then you clear out from the downstairs out into the skips. So after all the woodwork's replaced, new kitchen, new bathrooms would go into the house. The house would be repainted, and then new carpets would go in. Window frames would be replaced as and when necessary, new doors put on. So it's a complete refurb. Turnaround on a property could be upwards of about 2 to 3 months. Building sites are inherently dangerous places. You've got a lot of people in a confined area, heavy equipment being moved around, so health and safety is paramount. So to that effect, our qualified building personnel are trained in health and safety, and we provide training in health and safety to our volunteers. So we provide a level 1 in health and safety in a construction environment. It's a 1-day course, and once volunteers have completed that, we put them in for the CSCS training and card, and the CSCS is a passport to work on a building site. So anyone that's interested in construction work, labouring work, it's essentially gain that CSCS card. We also provide a level 3 first aid in the workplace training course, and that can be done between 1 and 3 days, depending how far you want to go into it. We provide all the PPE equipment, personal protective equipment for our volunteers, so that would include steel cap boots, high-vis jackets, protective trousers, goggles, gloves, hard hats, ear defenders, whatever is needed to ensure that they can work safely in the environment they're in. So volunteers come from a wide variety of backgrounds here and will be interviewed by myself so that you get to know us a little bit better and we get to know you a bit better. Find out what really interests you. Do you want to be a painter and decorator? Do you want to be a brickie? Do you want to be a joiner? Volunteers come sometimes just 1 day a week. Ideally, we like it if they come 2 or 3 days a week so they get to know us better and quicker and we get to know them. And they get more experience and build their confidence up quicker. We have volunteers here that have been with us for 6 months, some that have been with us for a couple of years, but many volunteers become either employed full-time by Gyroscope. I was a volunteer. Our apprentice, Chris, he was a volunteer with Gyroscope. He wanted to get into joinery and he's now got an apprenticeship and he's training with our qualified joiner. We find that many of our volunteers generate skills and they go off and do ad hoc bits of work for other people.
I've done an apprenticeship, 5 years as a bricklayer. I came on, I was what we would call a subcontractor and enjoyed doing it, so I came on board 3 times a week on the books.
We try to build skills that are transferable to real life situations where, no matter where they are. And we think the fact that we run quite a strict shop and say, okay, you've got to come in at 8 and we finish at 4, gets people who've maybe been out of work for some time into the discipline of coming to work, even if it's as a volunteer to begin with. And they build friendships here, camaraderie here. So it becomes like a normal workplace as you and I might understand it. If you're working on construction, you've got to have certain attributes. One is you've got to not mind getting pretty dirty, and I've seen guys come back from site literally covered in soot from head to toe, and it takes some showering to get that off. It's also quite hard work, especially in the middle of the summer like we have now, and you're wrapped up in PPE equipment and moving heavy pieces of material, wood, cement around. It's hard physical work, ultimately very satisfying, I think, for the people that do it.
Well, I've done this work for 50 years, so I must like it. So yeah, I enjoy doing it, and you get a finished product.